Okay, having a chat with Tim Stoltzfus, who is visiting the Off-White House, very kindly donating back the Spawn 10 script that he won in an auction in 1993, and trying to figure out how did this come about. And this goes back actually to junior high school. And one of the associations that I always say that we have in the comic book field, when any time the subject of a mother comes up, is my mom threw mine out. And I had that experience. My mother didn't throw out all of my comic books, but when I brought home some underground comic books, she threw those out. And I was going, you can't do that. That's like you don't throw creativity away. So that was a major schism there. You had a completely different experience, where again, junior high school. So ballparking it, we would say you were 15, 16 years old, and starting to hang out with a kind of dicey crowd in rural Pennsylvania, and your mother seeing that, but your mother came from a completely different side on it, and this was actually as a result of a run-in with a customer at the comic book store that. You were like me, one of those people that sort of visited home but lived at the comic book store. And tell the listeners about that experience.
Yeah, so I was when I was younger, I was buying a stack of comics every week at a store called Captain Bluehead in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. And one day that I was there, my mom related this story to me many years later. I was digging through their discount bins of 25-cent and 50-cent books on the far side of the store, but my stack of books was sitting on the counter. And a customer came in who was a professor at a local university, and he saw the stack of books and asked my mom if it was hers, and she said, no, they're my son's over there. And the guy then proceeded to tell her, like, the books that I was reading, he was impressed by, because he said this is college-level reading material. There's a lot going on in these, and if he's getting anything out of that, that's really impressive, and it's good that he's reading. And my mom told me that story years later, because one of the things she wasn't against me getting into comics, but she wasn't necessarily enthusiastic about it. This made her enthusiastic because at the end of the day, the guy impressed on her that it was a big deal that I was reading, and if my reading comprehension was that high that I could read these books and get something out of them, that was actually a big deal. And that was when my mom was like, okay, this is a thing that is good for him, not just a thing for him to kill time, but a thing that's actively good for him in the long term. That reading, and this is during a time when, comics were considered, once you're past 10 years old, they're trash, right?
Right.
And so to actively encourage me to keep reading and engaging with comics, my mom pushed me. I wouldn't say she pushed me. She was happy to embrace it with me as I went down the journey of becoming a comic book fan in the 80s because of that conversation with that individual.
And you have no idea who that individual was?
Nope, no idea. Just to this day. Maybe if the person who said that happens to be listening, by all means email me. It was a professor at Millersville University in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. So maybe that person's still alive and remembers, but I doubt it.
Definitely a transformational moment, anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
In your situation. And that was why your mother thought, okay, the way to steer him away from the direction that he's possibly going in, how about we open a comic book store?
Right.
And you were like, what, 16, 17 years
16 or 17. I was a junior in high school. I was in 11th grade in Pennsylvania at the time. And she came to me one day and says, do you want to open up a comic book store? And I'm too young to know any better, so I said, sure, why not?
Right.
And we opened up Tim's Cards and Comics in Pennsylvania that I did in my junior and senior years of high school, and then for another, until the end of 1993. So about 7 months after I graduated.
and she did all the bookkeeping and everything. It was like you were just running the comic book customer and ordering and stuff like that. But in terms of actual business, it's like she had the chops to do that side.
Yeah, she took care of the bookkeeping. To be fair, it was a small operation, so there wasn't a ton to do. It was manageable by the two of us. But yeah, she took care of that end while I took care of customer service and like ordering the comics and whatnot. You know, and she also then took me as a result of that. We went to a couple of retailer conferences leading into the script and where it came from. We went to a couple of capital city ones, one in Madison, one in Milwaukee, and then also we went up to Heroes World in Parsippany, New Jersey. My mom was born and raised in Morristown, New Jersey, so she had tons of friends up in that neck of the woods and was happy to go up there and visit them and also visit Heroes World back in 1993.
Right. And okay, yeah, this segues then into the retailer conference at Heroes World Distribution, and I did a cartoon for the conference. This was the thing that I would sign for the retailers and put a sketch on it, and it was a parody of Frank Sinatra's New York, New York. It's up to you, Parsippany, Parsippany. It's pretty close. Parsippany, New Jersey is pretty close to New York, New York, but it's Parsippany, Parsippany. Okay, so again, an unusual circumstance. Here's a retailer who's actually a pretty young kid, and he's with his mother, who is actually the business side of Tim's Cards and Comics, and they're coming to this trade show, and one of the things was a charity auction was part of what they were doing, and as you said, there was really only one charity at the time that everybody in comics was behind. It was the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund.
Right.
So I had donated the Spawn 10 script. Spawn 10 had just come out that month.
Was it that close? I honestly don't know the date. I haven't looked it up.
It was. I was checking the date on Spawn 10, and it was May 1993. I don't think they dated too far ahead, but a little bit far ahead. But it was. So it was a moment.
So it would have come out like in either March or April. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be about right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it had the lead-in of Alan Moore's issue 8, and then Neil Gaiman's issue 9, and then Spawn 10, and they were having a casino night at the retailer conference. So you pick it up from there.
Yeah, so the casino night was everybody who played got $1,000 in play chips. And then for a few hours, you play whatever game you want, blackjack, craps, roulette, and try to win more chips that then you use in the charity auction later in the night. And so when they finished the actual gaming part of the evening, and everybody's had a few hours to get some drinks in them, so they bid more money. We all sit down at a table and start the auction, and they explained that $100 in casino chip money counts as $10 in real money, because they didn't want anybody to stop bidding because they didn't have enough chips, because the whole thing is for charity. So as a result, an item that would close for $1,000 was actually $100 in real money. And so we sat there. I honestly don't remember.
It also let everybody be like Diamond Jim Brady,
right?
I'll $50.
Yeah, right.
$100, $200. I got plenty of numbers. Go ahead.
And so from my point of view, we sat there. I didn't see anything that really jazzed me until I saw the Spawn 10 script, and I was a very big Cerebus fan at that point. Obviously, I'm here, but. So I really wanted it, and my mom took over the bidding, and it came down. I remember getting to around 3,000, and there was another person that was going back and forth with my mom, and she just decided she was going to get it, and it got up to 4,500 before the other person bailed out and gave it to me. The script also on the front page, which scans I assume will go up with this, had a head sketch of Cerebus, and one of the things they promised is that Dave would sign the script the next day at the trade show convention room, and I put on a note on the header card that I still remember when I caught up with you the next day to get it signed. You were like, wait, you already have like 1 million head sketches, so you actually did a full body sketch of Cerebus on there. And also, I still remember you saying when I walked up, you were like, oh, of course you want it. Because we saw each other repeatedly at conventions up in the Northeast there for several years.
Right.
And so it's just kind of funny.
Oh, it's you kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Of course it's you. Who else would it be? So, anyway, your point of view.
Okay. My experience with the charity auction, and I'm telling tales on myself here, was I'm going to the Heroes World Convention or trade show as promotion for Cerebus, for AARDVARK-VANAHEIM. Consequently, it's a business expense. I'm writing off what it cost me to fly down to a trade show and writing off the hotel expenses. But that was definitely at the time that I was going, oh, this is like orders of magnitude more effective in terms of promoting going to a trade show than going to a convention, because I'm talking to actual retailers. These are the people who buy my book in quantity, as opposed to going to a convention, and not to lowball it, but you only buy one copy, and I'm sitting here doing a head sketch for you. I'd much rather do a head sketch for a retailer who's got the choice of going, well, maybe I'll take 10 instead of taking 5. I've been taking 5 up until now. So this was something that I was just starting to do, 1992, 1993, and then getting a business card. Can I have a business card? Sure, every retailer's got a business card. And that's why I still have Tim's Cards and Comics business card and Keith's Comics from way back when the earth was still cooling, business cards. And but getting back to telling the story on myself, it's like, okay, technically I'm here on the back of the Canadian taxpayer. They're paying to have me go and promote my business on the idea that I make my business bigger and I pay more taxes to the government, which is how it works. But in terms of technicalities, when I should have been at the trade show, at the casino night, at the start of it, because, okay, this is something that you are associated with because you've donated the Spontan script, get down to the casino night. The Toronto Maple Leafs were still in the playoffs that year. Yep. You actually looked it up online.
Yeah, it was May 17th. It was the night the Maple Leafs lost 4-1 against the Kings.
4-1.
Or sorry, 1-4. Sorry, 1-4. Yeah, he's right. He's correct. I misspoke. But yeah, and also it was the Calder Cup Finals back when the NHL had their divisions named super weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
It was the division final against the Los Angeles Kings, and it's like, no, you're not. You shouldn't be charging the Canadian taxpayer to sit and watch the Leafs play the Los Angeles Kings in your hotel room. Get down to what you're supposed to be doing, which at the same time probably there isn't a Canadian or at least a Leaf fan who would go, no, you got to watch the Leafs first, then you can go down and do the business thing. Please, speaking as a Canadian taxpayer, we have to let you do that. So consequently, and this is probably the karma attached to it, I didn't know about this 10-to-1 ratio. The Leafs did beat the LA Kings 4-1, and it's like, come on, Dave, it's the third period, they're up by 4-1, you don't have to watch all the way to the end. get down to the event that you're supposed to be at, the casino night. And when I went down to the casino night, it's like I walked in and it would be interesting if it was the Spawn 10 script that was being auctioned at that point. We don't remember that side of it. But I walked in and it was either that was the Spawn 10 script or it was the next item that came up. And I'm sitting there going, man, these are some deep-pocketed retailers. Because whatever it was that was being auctioned, it's like 25, 50, 75, 100. 150, 200, and I'm going, it's whatever it was, autographed something or other. And I'm going, oh, I wonder how the Spawn 10 script's going to go. And then I'm listening to the bidding on the Spawn 10 script, and it's like 800, 1,000, 1,200, 1,400. And I'm going, you're kidding. It's like, I thought it was going to go for a few bucks. And as you say, your mother had seen exactly how enthusiastic you were about this Spawn 10 script, that this was the thing that you wanted most of all, and she was just gonna stick. And that's what you always hope for a charity auction, is that somebody's gonna be in that situation. So it was getting crazy from my point of view, because it was, 3,000, 3,200, 3,400. 3,500, 3,600. And I actually ended up writing on the front of the script, to Tim, best wishes and 4,500 thanks, because that's what it topped out at. But somebody then broke it to me, and everybody that whatever table I was sitting at, I wasn't sitting with you.
Correct. I did not know. Just two random fun points. One, I didn't know you were in the room during the auction. I didn't find out until the next day when I came down and had it signed, and that's when you explained to me your shock at the numbers. But also, nothing against Spawn. I enjoyed Spawn for many years, but I really wanted this because of Cerebus. And the part of this was there's hopefully people see the scan of you did a sketch of the spread in Spawn 10 of the hands and the cages, like a rough concept sketch that was included with this. And I was like, yeah, a piece of original sim art, the script to, Spawn 10. Like, it was my Cerebus fandom that put me there, that made me really want this in my collection at the time.
So you don't remember that Spawn 10 had just come out?
That's the thing, I couldn't
I
tell
didn't
you.
remember that either.
I would have thought it came out much earlier. I would have not pegged, if you asked me off the top of my head, I would not have pegged March or April of 93. I would have thought sometime in 92. But yeah. So I knew it was out, but I was there for Cerebus. Like, I want to, like, again, nothing against Spawn, but like, I was obsessed with Cerebus. I loved, Church and State is still, one of my favorite things of all time. And I also loved Minds a great deal. So I was a big Cerebus fan first and foremost. Great. And that's why I really wanted this, because I was like, this is a unique piece of Dave Sim art that I wanted. So.
And even with the 1 to 10 ratio, it's like $450 for a script at the time, 1993, was I definitely took that as a credential, and that's a credential that I owe to Tim Stoltzfus. And to Tim Stoltzfus's mom,
to Peg
who
Stoltzfus.
looked at him and said, no, he really, really wants this. And we've come all the way here. We've already spent the money on the transportation, and it's not that far from Pennsylvania to New Jersey, but we're also spending for food, and we're spending for hotel rooms. He's going to get it one way or the other. Right. And the other thing was when you showed me the "It's Up to You" Parsippany art card that I had signed for you. I'm going, it's got Posey on it. Who on earth would ever ask for a Posey sketch? And as you said, it was
Yeah, I'd seen you at so many conventions and gatherings over the years that by that time it's like, why do another Cerebus head sketch? I've got like a dozen of them in various books and forms. So I just was like, can I get Posey instead? That's another favorite character, and Dave was happy to oblige. So it was great.
No problem for me. It's like I'm just glad you didn't ask for Lord Julius. 'Cause that's the one that looks a lot easier than it actually is. Okay, Tim, I appreciate it. We're going to get to your nickel tour of the Off-White House now, and then Rolly will take over showing you around Camp David. But really, really grateful to have Spawn 10 crossing over the script back at the Off-White House, and pretty soon to be prepped for a print edition. Spawn 10, the script.
And I'm looking forward to that. And my only other one thing, we've brought her up a bunch, but the reason I'm donating this is in honor of my mother. I wouldn't be where I am without her, and I like to think that in being in the comic business for 30 years now, I've had a positive impact, and I wouldn't have done that without her influence. She passed back in 22, and this is kind of a pilgrimage for me to honor her memory as best I can. And so thank you for indulging me on that, and I hope everybody enjoys getting to see this when it gets published and when the scans and stuff get online.
And we will definitely have a photo and a tribute to Winifred Peg Stoltzfus in the back of the Spawn 10 script, and we'll make sure that you get as many copies of that as you want for family and friends to hand out.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Tim.